This is a Hot Pie Original.
Hi, this is Pat Pearson and Hot Pie Media, bringing you Stop Self-Sabotage. I'm going to be bringing you this program every week, and we're going to be delving into the wonderful messiness of our lives. We're going to be talking about your hopes, your fears, and the emotional issues that you need to resolve to make you even happier will be discussed at all the times we're together. In this process, you got to ask yourself, what's in it for you? Well, what's in it is an uplifting information, renewed hope, and some fabulous people who are going to come in to share their life stories. All of it wrapped up in a wonderful container to help you deserve even more of life's great adventure. Come join me. We're going to have a good time on Hot Pie Media. Stop Self-Sabotage. We're here today, Stop Self-Sabotage, Pat Pearson, and the lovely Suzanne Court. Hi, Suzanne. Good to have you.
Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for the invitation.
I'm glad to have you. Suzanne, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've been an entrepreneur. I know that you, have done all kinds of wonderful things. Tell me a little bit about that, please.
Well, I have been an entrepreneur, mainly a caterer and event planner, going on 25 years. My first business at 25 started just doing food and fabulous events, completely learned on the fly, self-taught, but loved every minute and really loved how a well-executed event made the guests feel and just making those memories.
Yes, exactly.
After those first 5 years, I moved to Austin and started a business of my own here in town, and have been at that for about 20 years.
Yeah, great. And I have been to one of your events, and they are spectacular. I mean, I can still taste some of those hors d'oeuvres. They were so good.
Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to cook for you again.
Oh, yay. Anytime. I eat every night.
Okay.
Feel free. Okay, so today we're talking about your emotional toolkit, a broad topic, but it's really about dealing with the emotions of our lives. And we all have them, whether we like them or not. And the research shows, let me share some of this with you. This is kind of interesting research. The research shows with a survey of 70,000 people that 1/3 of them said they didn't like their emotions. They didn't like being sad or mad. They were probably okay with being happy, and but they didn't like feeling certain things, which of course is understandable. And that the culture in and of itself rewards fake positivity, that we're supposed to always be happy and up and, grateful. And that's just not the truth of life. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, can you be happy all the time?
No, but I think in a lot of industries, and I will say certainly in my industry, it's one of those where you do need to fake it until you make it on the happiness, because you are in a people-pleasing role. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I, have struggled with at times. And, you want to put on that face for everyone because you want to keep people up, even if you're not. You want to project that positivity and that happiness and just that Pollyanna-esque.
Yeah. Well, and that's very appropriate. What you're saying is so good, because that's very appropriate for the customer service aspect. But inside, you may be frustrated that your hors d'oeuvres didn't show up right, or or sad that somebody dropped the egg rolls or whatever.
Are you kidding? Never.
That never happens, right?
There's never any disappointment. Never, no profanity ever. Absolutely, no little fibs on what really happened.
Yes, there you go.
You pegged it.
Yeah. But so there's an outward presentation and an inward reality sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's true of a lot of people in a lot of businesses. Okay, so I'm going to share some facts here, and then we'll chat about them. Number one, as a therapist, I see over and over again that feelings are facts, even if you don't like them. And like we said, 70% of people didn't like their feelings. So a lot of them didn't. 70,000 said they didn't like some of their feelings, but they're a fact. You can't get rid of them. They're there. The only question then becomes, do you deal with them? And the only way to deal with them is they either go in or they come out. Real easy. In, out. If they go in, then if they haven't been dealt with, you have some struggles with that. Always. I mean, everybody. So the key in this idea, the key in my work is to help people accept what they feel, express what they feel, and release it. So get it out, feel it, accept it. Like if I'm mad, I'm mad. No, I'm not mad at you. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. So accept that you're mad, express it, maybe not to that person, and never in a way that hurts them or hurts yourself. Let me just say that first. But express it. Talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, talk to somebody, express it, get it out of you. And then once you get it out, be done with it. Let it go, And that phrase, accept, express, release. I know that you have done that in your life, and it's something you believe in. So share with me a little bit of how you've managed to do that.
I tend personally to be a little confrontational if something isn't going right, because it affects how everything is going to go from that point, especially in business. So if I'm uneasy about something, if I have an issue with someone, I like to kind of nip that in the bud personally. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you really do. If you're angry, if you're disappointed, if you're just in disbelief about what happened, I like to go ahead and as kind as possible say, hey, I need to let you know this right now, because we've got a contagion of things that are going to happen from here if I don't address this. This is what I'm feeling. Right. This is why. Let's see what we can do about it.
That's wonderful.
There are times that I come across a little too harsh in the beginning, but truly, I want to get that out so that it doesn't have a big undercurrent later where it is going to explode.
Of course. And you're so smart to do that, because so many of us women tend to just stuff, and we say, oh, we should be nice. We should be thoughtful, give them the second chance. And I'm never saying, as you aren't, that we want to be mean or awful, but I am saying that, getting it out directly is the right way, because it will come out some way.
It will come out, and it usually is going to come out stronger.
Yes.
And more intense if you hold on to it. If you address it at the beginning, then there's no opportunity for that to keep carrying on that way.
Right.
Whoever you're having the beef with will have, a choice to make a change, an amendment then to help the situation.
Sure. And you're going to feel better.
Absolutely.
Even if they don't do anything different.
I've said what I needed to help correct the situation.
Yeah. I've been truthful.
And hope that it'll move along in a better direction.
Cool. That's great. Okay. So accept, express, release. Another way I heard somebody talk about it, which was, I thought, very cute. Feel it, deal with it, and heal it. Mm-hmm. Feel, deal, heal. Mm-hmm. Kind of cute, mom.
I love that.
Yeah. Feel, deal, heal. I can't say it, but it's a good idea. Feel, deal, heal. Okay, so let's talk about some of the emotions that people are going to come up with in life, in business, everywhere. Some of the ones that give people the most trouble are disappointment, anger, and depression. Okay, so I'm going to take on each one of these. Disappointment's an interesting one, because disappointment, when we say we're disappointed in somebody, what happens, I believe, is that under that feeling, there's an implicit should. You should have done this. You should have called me. You should have returned my phone calls. You should have picked up that catering, box and not left in the middle of the room or something, whatever it is. But there's an expectation inside of us that hasn't been met. And so that expectation is what leads us to disappointment. Many times it's easier to deal with that than when it converts itself to more anger or more deeper emotions. Mm-hmm. So when you're disappointed, Suzanne, what do you tend to do with that?
Sometimes it depends on how hurt I am in that disappointment.
Yeah,
and if it's where I'm really disappointed to the level that I can't believe that this person didn't have the respect here, or wouldn't know to treat the situation better, sometimes I will sit on that. And then that might deepen. I find that if I address it, no matter what the situation, say, something happened at work, someone, was a no-show and it didn't, it completely had a contagion of everybody else having to pick up more weight. I like to address it with, next time, would you please? Because if you go ahead and set that expectation that, hey, this happened, I'm addressing it with you now, but I'm setting, next time, would you please?
Yes.
Then I've done everything from my side,
right,
to try to keep that expectation and to move in the right direction while giving them an opportunity to help correct.
So that's really nice. I really like that. Would you please?
Don't say can. Anybody can. You say would. It's almost like they're going to have to give you a reason if they don't do that. So would you please?
I love this. You should be running the show.
I ran that show. I ran that circus.
You run this
ringleader of that circus.
Well,
the event circus.
But that's to your point. It's excellent because everybody is running their own show. Even if you're at home with 4 kids and a husband and not working, or if you're working in whatever you're working in, but we're always running our own show. Mm-hmm. And the interesting part about that, from my perspective, is that if we don't take responsibility, that we're the ones who have been disappointed, mm-hmm. that maybe this person didn't even know about it, and so that it's our responsibility to ask,
right,
which is what you're doing,
right?
Would you please? I love that. Would you please? And so it's couched in a very nice way, and they either do it or they don't. And if they do it, fine, done. If they don't, you see that they're not listening.
Absolutely.
And then that gives you other feedback as a boss, on what you want to do about that. Okay, good answer. Okay, anger, another one that people get stuck in. A lot of times we don't want to deal with our anger. Mostly if we're women. A lot of women tend to somaticize it. And when I was getting therapy training, I did a lot of training in a type of therapy called bioenergetics. Bioenergetics was a type of therapy that was very interesting because it worked on where you stored emotions in your body. And they found out that the back of the body, the neck, the lower back, was the anger track. So when we're really angry, we can get headaches, backaches, neck aches, and our language can speak to it. We say he's a pain in the neck, or she's a pain in the ass, right? To lower down. So and we literally feel pain in those areas when we're dealing with somebody that we're really angry with. Mm-hmm. I had a client I worked with once, Suzanne, was interesting. And that is every time she got on the phone with this one particular person she worked with, her neck went into terrible spasm. I mean, so much that she just kind of went spastic.
Oh no.
I know. But it didn't happen with anybody else. It was an indication in her body that she was, not processing, dealing with this angry situation. So, when we internalize it, it takes us down. Now, the front of the body is the esophageal passage is the sadness track. And so we can feel heartbreak. You can literally feel like your heart's breaking. I've certainly had that experience. Most of us have. And you go to a movie and your throat, clenches up because you're sad and wanting to cry, or you cry, or you get scared and then it's hard for you to breathe. And it's, your diaphragm gets tight. So all these things are indications, somatic indications of our feelings. Mm-hmm. And for me, I tend to get it in my neck. When I'm mad, my neck goes, ah. And depending on how mad I am is kind of the intensity with that. But the answer for all this, all right, the answer for anger is to get it out of you. Remember, feelings are facts, in or out. We got to get it out. So have you found any ways to get out your anger that don't hurt you or don't hurt anyone else?
Well, I have a dear friend who is a best-selling author. talking about you that has, helped with a few things. And it's by the grounding that you've taught me on really planting my feet and taking the deep breaths, but also journaling it out.
Mm-hmm.
I journal it out. And the more I write it out, and you can't be self-conscious about what you're writing or how harsh it might be.
Right.
To really get that out in
Just
writing.
dump it. Yeah.
Dump it. And then really
say everything you want to say. Be as nasty as you want to be.
Yes. Yeah. I have a couple of girlfriends, beloved friends, that I will share things with, but in doing that, I find I don't want to spend our whole conversations in those negative, recounting what's going on. I find if I journal it first and I really try to get those feelings out, that I'm much more clear about the root of the anger issue.
Sure, of course,
and then I'll talk it through.
Very smart, very smart.
But it's been really helpful in me, for me. Because I was dealing with things that I thought, oh, wow, this is going on. I must be depressed about this, and found out that I was really angry about some things that I hadn't properly addressed.
Yeah.
And when I came to terms with that and really started working those steps, I immediately felt a difference.
Great.
And you're talking about the body pains, definitely having lower back pain, having pain in my jaw and my temples, things like that.
Yeah.
Just constant from the stress of holding on to that anger.
Exactly.
And learning those things, just simple steps, can make a big difference in your physical health, which is also going to make a difference in your mood, how you present yourself, the level of energy you bring to a room, all of those things. So it's been really helpful. And that journaling for me has been a godsend. Good.
Some people really love it. Mm-hmm. I also teach people how to, and this gets kind of silly, but a mutual friend of ours did it, of course. I teach people to get a big pillow and get your tennis racket or get a baseball bat. Put the person that you're really furious at on the pillow. They're not there. Okay. If your husband, do it when he's not there or whatever, your friend, and then beat the heck out of it. Just hit it and say, I hate this. I can't stand it. Something short, but powerful that says, stop, I hate this. And the reason that this is so important is that it's cathartic. It gets it out of you. Remember, feelings in or out. If they're in, they're causing you trouble. So the key is to express them out and release them. I have to bring this. That reminds me of the scene in Steel Magnolias between Olympia Dukakis and Shirley MacLaine when Olympia Dukakis says, just hit me. Here,
because it does. Getting that release is a lot.
It is. And the physicality of protest. There's another one, an old film called Network. And he sticks his head out and he goes, I'm mad and I can't take it anymore. And then he has the whole building going, we're mad and we can't take it anymore, which is exactly what we feel. We do feel that we're to the top of our ability to handle it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I tell people when I'm doing coaching with them, therapy with them, is I'll say, look, we're a bucket. All of us, we're a container. You pour stuff in. Okay, you dealt with that. You deal with that. You're fine with that. Okay. Then you get to the top and there is no more room. You take this anger and you pour it in and it goes everywhere. It overflows. And that's when you say things you don't want to say. That's when you wreck cars. That's when you get drunk. That's the time that people get out of control. Mm-hmm. Okay. So emptying that container as early and as frequently as possible is the key, because you want to keep that down. It'll never be totally gone. Come on. Life is too frustrating. There's too many idiots on the road. They're going to make us crazy, right? So it won't ever be perfect, but if you can keep it down by dumping it out, by protesting, by, another thing I love is killing people in my shower.
Okay.
I get a bar of soap. I yell, I stomp. Okay, the water's going. So nobody in my world is hearing me, and I can throw my little squidgy thing I use to wash myself. I'll throw it and I'll say whatever I want to say. The only one who tends to get upset about that is the dog.
Okay.
The dog's going, ooh. Anyway, but the idea is I get it out of me. That's what I'm trying to preserve. Me, I wash off, I step out clean.
If I know personally, if I don't get it out, I pass it on.
Of
and
course.
That's the last thing that I want to do is pass on something that's in me to other people that I'm just, trying to go along life with,
Yes.
And you don't want to take things out on other people. So just making sure to handle it internally.
Yes.
And getting that out as best you can helps every relationship.
That's so well put. If I don't get it out, I pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to quote you on that. That is wonderful. I don't get it out, I pass it on. Of course you do. What else could you do?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's you. It's now in you. And feelings are facts. Whatever you feel is the reality. Mm-hmm. And you may not like it, but you're going to have to deal with it some way. And the best way is to, take care of yourself first, get yourself, releasing it. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about is depression. Okay, depression is many times, and you said it earlier so correctly, it's anger turned inward. It's how if we don't deal with it, it gets like compost. It's pushed down. And at some point in time, we can give up, and depression is a giving up in some ways. It's a giving up of asserting ourselves. It's a giving up. We get overly tired. We have no energy. We don't want to eat. We feel scattered. We feel unfocused. You can't get motivated. So all those are signs of depression. But when I work with people with depression, one of the first things I want to find out about is, what are you angry about? And they go, I'm not angry, I'm depressed. Let's see. Scratch that a little bit and you're going to find anger. And the interesting thing is, if they deal with the anger, it lifts the depression. Mm-hmm. Because it's all energy. Mm-hmm. All we're talking about here about our feelings is energy. The energy is either flowing, and I don't mean woo-woo energy. I just mean, we wake up and we're either energized or we aren't, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our emotions are such a big part of our energy system that we don't think about. A lot of times we say, gosh, I'm just so tired. I have no energy. I don't know what to do. And we think, we better take vitamins. Vitamins are great. However, it will not help you deal with your anger. If you take a vitamin. I've never been a vitamin that does that. So we've got to do both. We have to keep our physicality going, and we have to keep our emotional agility going. So dealing with depression is a little bit like dealing with anger, and that is that you can do a shortcut. You can journal, you can protest, you can exercise. Great way to get things moving. And then you can talk to somebody about it, Mm-hmm. Talking, and there is a reason why Freud created the talking cure. The talking is good. Like you said, you call friends.
Absolutely. If I'm feeling depressed and I feel it going a little deeper, the first thing I do, I have a couple of girlfriends that I do a check-in with, and I just say, hey, it's rearing its ugly head. I'm afraid. I don't want it to get too far. Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
And it really helps me to know. And I think we all have, you don't have to have a ton of good friends. You just need to have a few.
Yeah.
And sometimes just one or two that really care, that you're there for, and they're there for you. But it makes all the difference just kind of doing that check-in. And like you said, depression a lot of times is anger. And there have been times where I've been really depressed, just letting that out here, but where I've been angry at myself for
good point.
Not accomplishing what I knew I was capable of, mm-hmm. and really trying to look internally at those things, and then learning to give myself some grace through that, and realizing I have friends and family that love me anyway. Right. And just go ahead, resurface and work through it. And it really is just so helpful to be able to talk that through, because when you're depressed, you're not rational in your mind. You're thinking things, very heavily, and it really helps to get a sounding board and second opinions and people that affirm you are worthy, you are wonderful.
Yes.
What can I do to help? I'm
here for you.
Even to listen.
Oh, absolutely. To listen. Yeah.
Even just to listen.
Oh, absolutely. And your point is so well made, and it just shows how emotionally resilient you are. I mean, the truth is that when you catch it, when you notice it, that's the time. And to have the consciousness to notice it. Because too many of us don't pay attention to it till your arm falls off, or something bad happens. That goes, whoa, I better.
You want not to address it because you want to keep covering it up, hoping it'll go away.
Yeah.
If you keep doing that, you're going to end up in a very bad plight. You've got to address it. And I think that there is so much more awareness of mental health now. That
no question.
It's becoming so much easier to come out and say, hey, I'm struggling.
Right. Exactly. They even have commercials now I see on with the, major sports figures coming on and saying, I was depressed, which you got to give them so much credit for that and how much they're letting people then be okay with it.
Right.
Yes. I mean, women have always been able to talk, so that is a little bit of a depression safeguard. But men, not so much. They don't usually sit down and tell their buddy over a beer, I'm really depressed. But, these sports guys are doing it. Maybe they'll think about that. I mean, and it's the way out. It's the way out.
I'm glad to see that door opening, and I'm glad to see, people at the front coming out on it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And, the World Health Organization, WHO, has declared that depression is the leading cause of disability globally.
I did not know that.
Depression. Yes. Over cancer, over heart disease, over everything. And I do think that what we've gone through in 2020 and now into 2021 is fueling that. I think the rates are going to be extraordinary, Yes. So there's one of the reasons that we're doing this show, and that is to help people get out of emotional rigidity into agility, like accept it, express it, release it, feel, deal, heal. I keep doing that over again because, I don't know if everybody out there is like me, but I need to hear it 3 or 4 times before I get it.
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. We're going to talk now about another part of our emotional toolkit, and that's what I call the cycles of change. Everybody goes through change. Change is inevitable. It doesn't matter whether you want to go or not.
Whether you want to or not.
It doesn't matter. And there are 4 stages of change I want to talk about. I'll go through them first, and then I'll come back and explain them. First one's called Go For It. Okay. The second one is called Doldrums. The third one is called Cocooning. And the fourth one is called Getting Ready. Okay. Go for it is what it sounds like. Let's go, make it happen. Hubba hubba. I'm out there. I'm striving. I'm having a good time, making my business soar, making my life soar. And it's a wonderful excitement feeling of, just that you can do anything, and it's lovely. As we know, it doesn't last forever. But we want to make it last as long as possible. And it's a stage where we start new things and we get on exercise programs and we take new vitamins or we do something to enhance our life. So go for it. Fabulous feeling, good cycle to be in. And life happens. And as life happens, and this is a circular process, Suzanne. Okay. My explanation of life is not that it's linear. Okay, you don't start here and then end up all the way up here. You circle around all these 4 cycles. Everyone will hit it. Everyone who's listening will be in one of these 4 cycles at some point in time now, and they won't stay there. They will also move through them. Okay? So doldrums, that's no fun. Doldrums are when we get depressed, things slow down, nothing's working. It could be from an event, a death, a loss, our own self-doubt, pandemic, certainly through everyone in the doldrums, everybody. And so it's a phase in which we wonder what's wrong, why am I stuck? I can't seem to get out of this mud of my existence, and it's pessimistic. It's where we sabotage. And when we get in it, there's a natural timing to that stage, and that is 3 to 6 months usually. It can be more, it can be less. We're looking at some research here about the cycles that we go through. So doldrums, right? The next one's cocooning. Mm-hmm. Cocooning can be kind of fun, really, if you look at it. It's introspection. It's search for a new identity, a new way of being, a new way of looking at something. We ask the questions, what's it all about? Where am I in the universe? What am I needing to do? And one of the good things maybe about this last year or so is that people have had some extra time to think these thoughts and to cocoon and to come up with what's truly important to them. And maybe clubbing every Friday night isn't. Maybe there's some other things that they would like to do. Sees how they can't club every Friday night. What I want to do with my life. It's a self-reflecting time. The focus is on internal. If you're focusing on a business, you're repurposing that business. You're looking for new ways, new answers, new ways to clear, to come out and have a passionate restart. And the fourth phase is getting ready. Getting ready is spring after a long, hard winter. It may be culturally kind of what we're in now. We're bubbling up. Things are, opening up. We're, at least in the United States, we're feeling like we're getting ready for new things, new perspectives, and the creativity is returning. We get new energy. We get a new vision. And now we're ready to go, to circle back and get and go for it. Right. So those are the 4 life cycles. Everyone who's listening or watching us, including you and I, are both in one of these stages right now. If we're not in the stage or the cycle we like, which would be doldrums or cocooning maybe, then we need to process, feel, deal, and heal, process the feelings, and move us to the new stage. So right now, new cycle. Where do you find yourself in these cycles of change?
Right now, I find myself in probably the end stages of cocooning.
Okay. All right. Good.
Being
nice.
very introspective and thoughtful and strategic with the next steps to start the getting ready.
Yeah. Start going, and then you'll go into go for it, which will new energy and vision will bubble up. Probably is already starting.
And I might be between the stages because I've done the work in certain areas, but there are just a few facets that I'm fine tuning. But definitely have been through during the pandemic most all of those stages, except for the getting ready to go back for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what you're alluding to, which is so true, is that we had a stage imposed on us.
Yeah.
I mean, globally. Globally, everything went in the doldrums. And then it came down to how people were dealing with that.
How people react to change, which is huge.
Exactly. And, the one interesting thing that everyone understands on some level is that you don't control the event. You control your response to it, So you're kind of in the transition between end stage of cocooning to getting ready to bubble up, new ideas, new energy, new vision. Yeah. Okay. And that's wonderful. And the point of understanding this is there's no blame in this. There's just a realization of where I happen to be at this moment. Knowing that it's going to change, even if you're in the highest of go for it, you are not going to stay there. All right. And if you're the lowest of low doldrums, you're probably not going to stay there either. Right. So life is change, but there's cycles. And the important thing for the people that I'm talking to in Stop Self-Sabotage to understand is that they need to understand what phase they're in so they can start planning how to get to the next stage.
Yes.
So any ideas about how you're going to get into getting ready?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is the journaling and the visioning and just really, I had a period during the pandemic where I was feeling my creativity completely stunted. And for me, that was just heartbreaking. It was really hard. I'd never not been creative. I was learning new skills and loving that learning curve. But also, there was stress involved with that. And it just stumped my creativity. and to be able to open up open up some avenues that for me help breed that creativity. I got this one project on brand that really helped open my creativity back up. And then it's just like all the doors open.
Yeah.
And I could just feel it flowing. It made me so happy. I knew, okay, you're back on your way.
Lovely.
And so I started really channeling things that were going to feed that even after that project was over. And now I'm on new things, and I'm just really working those steps to keep me in that creative mode, to foster and feed that. And that's what's getting me out of the cocooning into that, get ready
for it, get ready, and then go for it. And then,
I mean, I'm feeling it all come back. And I would not have been able to get there properly had I not been really introspective and nurtured that time where I needed to figure it out.
I love that you said that, because too many people want to race through the doldrums, the cocooning, and they may call it depression. They may call it whatever they want to call it, but they don't want to take the time to really milk it for all it's worth. And there's a great amount of soul understanding that comes out of that. There
was so much for me, and during the pandemic, I had time to think about things and to really try and look at why certain things happened, what fed me in certain ways, things that I was going to put boundaries around again. I mean, moving forward to help with all of this. And I mean, it was really helpful for me to take that time and really study myself through that.
Wonderful. Congratulations. And Suzanne, you have been a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for your openness and sharing here today. And I know you've touched a lot of lives who are listening to these podcasts, and I appreciate you so much for coming.
Thank you. Pat, I appreciate you so much. You've helped so many women, and I'm just looking forward to more opportunities to talk again.
We will do it. We will do it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home on the web at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.